Yo, what is up, my people? Just reset my monitors, I think. Yep, little blackout there. Welcome back. We are going to be checking out 6.0 Star Wars: The Old Republic expansion. I haven't played this game in, well, that's not true. I've been playing this game pretty regularly off stream, and I just haven't had a lot of time to stream. But I figured with 6.0 coming out and a lot of my friends, and I'm sure veteran players looking to return, seems like a logical time to kind of get back into the game. So the expansion is live right now. Today is Tuesday, October 22nd, I believe, but we're not going to get to play it until about 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's 1 p.m. I think here on the East Coast. So we're just going to go over some stuff. This is going to be a really short stream, and then I'll be back on later on this afternoon when the expansion launches. But I wanted to talk about some of the patch notes that are coming out because they're really interesting. So this is gonna, I think I've already decided that I want to likely roll, likely gonna roll the sniper for sure. Marksmanship for PvP. Hopefully, I mean, just been the way it's been performing pre 6.0 has been really spicy. Big crits and the damage seems to be really there. So as long as the class doesn't take too many, just general hits, we'll have to wait and see what gets in there. I'm just going to go over some, new set bonuses and stuff like that, and some of these new tactical items. For those of you who are unaware, they're introducing tactical items, they're sort of like if you play WoW, they're kind of like your artifact. They can change certain things about your class and how they play. I don't know if they're going to end up making as big of a difference as BioWare hopes that they're going to make, but from what I'm reading right now, they look pretty interesting. Some of the ones that I have seen, and just like, what, I'm probably just going to go over the classes that are relevant to what I play. So that's going to be the Sniper, the Sith Marauder, probably the Sorcerer, probably the Operative. We'll just see what's what. Get you some like hot take reactions, because some of these I just think are going to be absurd, and some of them I think are going to be really lackluster. So seeing as we're here with the Warrior, let's just check these out. So these are the base. So the following set bonuses, these are obtainable by any, so either the Sith Jug or the Marauder. You can now choose. There's a whole bunch of different ways to play. There's not going to be any one-off. If you're a DPS Jug, this is the class. You're going to go for the. I don't even know what it's called. What was it called? The Blade Master. Was it Blade Master? Or is that Sentinel? Is that Marauder? Marauder, I think, was the Blade Master, or whatever, the Vindicator. Anyways, you guys know what I'm saying. There's not just going to be one set of set bonuses if you're looking to be a DPS Jug. Now you've got the standard Sith Warrior ones, then you've got ones tailored for the Sith Juggernaut for each class. Same with the Marauder, same with all the classes. So there's going to be your base, there's going to be your base Imperial Agent, then your Snipers, then your Operatives. There's going to be a base, Jedi Sage, but then there's going to be the Shadow, and then there's also going to be the whatever. I don't even know. I don't think I've ever played a Sage. It is a Sage, and the base class. I'm saying the base class is wrong. I don't know. So yeah. So sorry, Sork. You're either going to get your base Sork class. Your Inquisitor, your base Inquisitor class, and then you're going to get your Sork class, and then you're also going to get your Assassin stuff. So there's a lot of mixing and matching here. So we've arrived here, I believe, at the Marauder Actually, let's just go over the whole Warrior tacticals. So we have the new set bonuses are available at level and 75 for all the Sith Warriors, so you can choose what you want. So the first one is Descent of the Fearless. 2-piece is 2% mastery, 4-piece whenever you gain or use a furious power ability. So that's our new level 75 ability. I think it kind of functions similar to the Marauder when they changed Carnage, and it's not like Gore became an actual physical ability, and then you got like Furious or whatever. You get those 2 charges. So I believe this is sort of like a similar concept for all the Warriors. Don't quote me on that. Obviously I haven't played the game yet. So the 4-piece, whenever you gain or use a Furious Power ability charge while in combat, your damage is increased by 10% for 10 seconds. Sounds pretty legit. Dealing damage has a 10% chance to build a Furious Power ability charge. Can only occur once every 5 seconds. That's actually pretty sick because I don't know what the cooldown on this Furious Power is going to be, but I imagine it's going to be pretty long. Like you're going to want to use that on key abilities in your rotation, so having that, you can generate a charge and then just throw in that it's some additional burst at the end. If you're going to play like a Rage Jug, that sounds pretty legit. Like your second Furious Strike in the rotation, probably not going to have a Furious Power charge, but maybe with this set it could. Or your like Vicious Throw or something like that. So this seems useful if you're trying to finish off like PvP focused, definitely this set. Forcebound, 2-piece, 2% accuracy rating, so off the bat PvE. 4-piece, enemies affected by Intimidating Roar have a greatly reduced accuracy for 6 seconds, and that's it. So this is probably easily obtainable. You can craft this with synth weaving. So yeah, that's like, some of these are harder to get, obviously, and some of these are going to be, pretty easy to get. Like you can craft your way up to them. All right, Nimble Master, 2% alacrity rating, 4-piece. So you can combine these. Actually, I think that was the thing that they were talking about, is that you want to be able to augment your set bonus for your specific spec with a base class. So you can kind of add these. That's why some of these are like only a 4-piece. So you can get the 2%. This 2% alacrity rating, probably really useful for Annihilation Marauders. Probably really useful depending on how the numbers are going to look for everybody. I can't see, both of these offer 2% mastery. This one's good if you're feeling like you want to be a 10, if you're going to play that Immortal Jug. So yeah, but that's a concept with, I believe, these base class sets, so you can add them to your spec sets. Okay, moving on. Perfect Form, 2% mastery for the 2-piece. Vicious Slash and Massacre deal 5% more damage. That's pretty sick. For the 4-piece, that's pretty key for Annihilation. 6-piece Vicious Slash, Massacre, Sweeping Slash add Vicious Thirst stacks to their target, stacking up to 5 times. Killing an enemy with Vicious Thirst stacks increase your damage by 3% per stack for 10 seconds. That sounds pretty legit. That sounds like something that you may want to work into the Annihilation tree. Or Carnage, seeing as because that directly affects your Massacre. But you are using Vicious Slash quite a bit in the Annihilation tree as well, like it's your filler when Annihilate is on cooldown. And then obviously this directly affects your Carnage, which is pretty sick. I don't play a whole lot of Carnage. The Undying, this is definitely a Jug-focused set, 2% Endurance after executing Mad Dash, taking 20%. Yeah, so this is if you're playing Immortal. This seems like after executing Mad Dash, you gain 20% damage reduction for 6 seconds. That seems pretty legit. I'm not sure if it's going to end up being worth the 4-piece, but it seems pretty solid. Tormented, 2% power for the 2-piece. 4-piece, after Force Choke stun effect finishes, it slows its targets and every target nearby for 6 seconds. That seems a little lackluster compared to what I've seen, but possibly decent for PvP. Okay, let's get into the Marauder stuff, because I don't know if I'm going to go over the Jug stuff. I don't play enough Jug. Alright. So yeah, here we go. So at level 72, the Marauders will receive a new ability, Furious Power. Activating this ability consumes all ability charges of Furious Power and applies Furious Power stacks to you. Each stack increases your next direct target. Okay, I feel like they've misworded that. Your next direct single target melee attack by 25% and is consumed whenever you deal damage with these attacks. Regain 1 charge every 30 seconds. Okay. I bet you there's going to be a talent that you can pick to charge up all of it, just like your power techs, for Cell Burst or something like that, for Energy Blast, Energy Burst. So maybe that's actually, this is going to be something you can charge up for the 4-piece. Not with a set bonus, but just with talents for PvP, for ranked PvP. Having all your charges when you hop into a war zone seems plausible. So that's pretty cool. So you can kind of buff your big hitters in the rotation, which is nice. Alright, so let's check it out. So these are the stock Marauder set bonuses that you can now get. So there's just so many, seemingly so many ways to play, guys. Culling Blade set, 2-piece, 2% mastery, 4-piece, activating dual saber throw grants dispatcher's challenge, making your next vicious throw critically hit. This effect cannot occur more than once every minute. Sounds pretty good. Using dual saber throw with furious power grants dispatcher, finishing the cooldown on force charge and making your next vicious throw usable on any target. If you take this with your ruthless aggressor, which I think is the one that gives you the vicious throw on any health target under the effects of your obfuscate or when you use obfuscate, this could actually be pretty legit set bonus. Having a buffed damage critical hit, I think the ruthless aggressor gives you 15% additional damage on that. Could be wrong. So having this available as like a filler part of your rotation or something you can get off more than once in a 1v1 sounds pretty cool, but I don't know if this will be, we'll see. Oh, this makes it usable on any target as well, so you don't even need to take that talent. Cool. Dashing Blade Master, 2% alacrity. Sounds 4-piece. Mad Dash's cooldown is reduced by 10 seconds. 6-piece. Activating Mad Dash while under force camouflage makes it critically hit and slows any target it damages. A lot of typos in here. This sounds utter garbage. This is really, really bad. Unless you're taking that talent that makes your one that buffs your Mad Dash and then also allows your Mad Dash to remove any and all like movement impairments. This is utter trash. Okay, let's get into the interesting stuff. So these are the tacticals. These are the base tacticals. So this is again that artifact thing that is going to change the way your character sort of operates. Following tacticals is added to the game at level 75, available for all Marauders. Alright, the Devil Spliced Jeans. Activating Predation finishes the cooldown on Force Camouflage. Okay, that is amazing. If you're a PvP Marauder player, you got to be happy about that. That is just going to be ridiculously OP. If you take your talent that allows Predation to be activated without using Fury, this is God mode. Like, you take that with Hidden Savagery, you're going to get way more use out of what I think is a really good like top tier talent in the Mara tree, especially if you're going to play Fury. So you can really charge up that Hidden Savagery charge, and then you just drop that Raging Burst or you drop that Furious Strike. But having that available way more often, because Predation is on what, like a 30-second cooldown compared to Force Camouflage, which is like 55, maybe a minute. I can't remember. Maybe it's like 42. Maybe this isn't as good as I think it is, but you have seemingly Predation up really often. And then Predation with the current talents we have, I don't know about the changes, but that's going to remove your, like, this should increase survivability a lot for Marauder players, like a lot. So that's pretty cool. And this drops from daily mission reward crates. Great. Alright, Grievous Wounds, moving on. Crippling Slashes, Trauma, and Slow effects last twice as long. Garbage. Hidden Power. Force Camouflage generates 2 rage per second. Garbage. Undying Cloak. Taking damage while Cloak of Pain is active reduces the cooldown of Undying Rage by 5 seconds per hit. Cannot occur more than once every 2 seconds. This is actually quite good. This is quite good. But it cannot occur more than once every 2 seconds. Like, I don't know if you would want to take this compared to something like this. Like, this seems to give you, like, guaranteed value in every single game. Like, you're going to have multiple uses of Predation, which is going to give you multiple uses of Force Camouflage. Whereas Undying, Cloak, like, you got to have Cloak of Pain up, and then this can't occur more than every 2 seconds, but 5 seconds is a pretty big reduction per hit. So if you take stuff that buffs Cloak of Pain, this might be a really good talent, or a really good, tactical to go for if you're a PvP player. This seems pretty good. This should increase survivability quite a bit as well. and you can craft that from Cybertech, so perhaps something that you want to go for off the hop if you are Cybertech. If that is one of your crew schools, like this would give you an early leg up, I think, in the PvP scene. Because the rest of these, as you can see, were just, this one is increased drop chance from daily mission rewards. I don't know if that's the only place you can get it. I'm sure you'll be able to get them on the GTN. People will be selling that shit. I'm sure they're, maybe most of these are craftable, maybe they're not. This one looks easily obtainable, unless it's going to have some crazy, recipe or crazy mission that's going to make it a bit more luxury, but we'll see. Okay, moving on to the actual spec tacticals. So this is Carnage. Like I said, I don't play a whole lot of Carnage, but we're going to talk about it anyways because it's new. Okay, Adendu's Malevolence. Ferocity is always active, but it only gives... So that was that thing I was talking about earlier. Ferocity is the thing that gives you multiple charges, and then they're used by either like your, Devastating Blast or whatever. So this is always active, and it gives you... It's like, remember the old Gore used to give you that 100%... the old Gore used to give you the 100% armor penetration for like your next abilities within that window. So you would hit everything within your Gore window. But that's what Ferocity is now. So this is always active, but gives 50% armor penetration. This is actually ridiculous. This is nuts. If you're like a really old school Carnage player and you appreciate like the APM required and lining everything up within that Ferocity window, this might be a bit of a buzzkill to have to take it. If you have to take it, if it does end up becoming best in slot. Because that would be a bit of a drag. I appreciate that some people want to have a little bit more of that like intensive, like micro-intensive rotation where you're like, oh man, like I really hit that Ferocity window perfectly, because this is taking away 50% of that armor penetration, but to have it up for every single, constantly, I think would be an overall damage increase. But we'll have to wait and see how the numbers shake out there. Okay, Thank God form. Using Massacre adds hyperstacks to you, increasing your critical chance by 10% and reducing the cost of your next Massacre by 1 rage per stack. Stacks up to 3 times. So you can get increased up to 30% critical chance and 3 less rage cost per Massacre. That is fucking amazing. Last 10 seconds or until an ability other than Massacre is used. Okay, never mind. This is okay. This is useful for that filler part of your rotation where you're just spamming out the Massacres, waiting for your Gore to come back up, or waiting for your Devastating Blast. And then hopefully you're going to get a big fat crit on that Gore. But this really should help your sustained damage as Carnage, which seemingly is like the problem that they've been suffering from. So this might be not bad. This is definitely really solid for PvE, I think. Just pretty much should give you like free Massacres forever, which is pretty cool. Okay, moving on. The Prosecution. Devastating Blast is now affected by Furious Power. Why would it not be? Oh, because it's a single... It's a... whatever. Okay. That's probably pretty good. Having a increased 25%... What was Furious Power? 25% damage, I think. Can't remember off the top of my head. I don't really want to scroll up. Yeah, so single target melee attack by 25%. Okay, so having a 25% increased... Devastating Blast, which I believe in the talent tree is guaranteed to crit already, so you have a critical Devastating Blast buffed by 25%. That's probably pretty good. But again, that seems like it would appeal to PvP players who really want to focus on like hitting that perfect Ferocity window, and you're going to get your 100% armor penetration Devastating Blast with a 25% buffed crit. Like that seems pretty good. The damage numbers from that might actually be pretty insane. Tome of Unyielding Blades. Smash causes your next Massacre to do damage to up to 8 enemies nearby the primary target. That's pretty good. That's actually super sick. That's super sick. That's some big AoE for Carnage right there. But I think AoE is going to get... It's just going to get ridiculous once we get into Annihilation. Even Fury is getting something that I skimmed over earlier that seems pretty interesting. But anyways, that does sound pretty good. Okay. Let's move on. Annihilation. Here we go. Malmoral Mask. When Annihilate deals damage to an enemy, God, I can't read today. When Annihilate deals damage to an affected enemy affected by Force Rend, it triggers a burst of damage to up to 8 targets around them. That's pretty good. So that's pretty much the same as that Unyielding Blades for Carnage. So you know you're going to get your Annihilate on a reduced cooldown as you stay alive in PvP fights and in PvE, and then you're obviously going to have Force Rend up on most targets that you are annihilating. So that's going to be like a good steady source of AoE damage. Okay, no time for fools. Annihilate automatically kills standard and weak enemies with less than 30% health. That's sick. This has been the bane of Annihilation for a while. Like, you are going to run through your flashpoints and your trash pulls, then it's just like, okay, sick, my big hitter is on cooldown. Whereas it seems like Raging Burst and Furious Strike are like constantly up, so you just one-tap in those trash mobs, whereas you're not really. You have to kind of like, you have to do your full rotation and then spread your dots and then wait for all the trash to die. But this seems like you can literally just walk through trash, because killing an enemy this way resets the cooldown of Annihilate. So you can have like free Annihilates if you're going to one-shot, which is pretty slick. Okay, cool. Spiteful Saber. Vicious Slash, Vicious Throw, and Dual Saber Throw refresh the duration of your Rupture's bleed effect and take its damage. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. So remember I said Vicious Slash is like a pretty, you know, your standard filler in Annihilation. And there's Dual Saber Throw is going to refresh that as well. So you kind of spread your dots, and then you can toss your Dual Saber through the entire crowd, and that's going to give you a whole nother. So this seems like really solid for PvP as well. Thirsty Blade. Ravage deals 5% more damage for each bleed stacked on the target up to 25%. I don't know. It seems reasonably good, but not as good as Spiteful Saber seems really solid, and Malmoral Mask also seems really solid for just AoE and pressure. Like, this Spiteful Saber should allow you to really pressure healers in PvP as well as this. You know, if anybody's around you, if you've got like Hypergate going on or the doors, like, I'm not sure what the damage burst is going to be, but perhaps it's the rest of what is left on Rend, which would be decent. So this is going to hit for like 8k, 6k, 7k. Not huge damage, but enough to be, you know, like everybody suddenly gets hit with 8k damage. Okay, so that's, you know, 44,000, 46,000 damage going out in an area, and it just should help the team, you know, pressure down those objectives and then keep the pressure up on the healers. Whereas with Vicious Slash, like this Spiteful Saber, this is gonna, you know, the same thing, but in a less bursty fashion. Like, this is gonna refresh your Rupture and take its damage. So Rupture is what, 12 seconds, or is it 18 seconds? It's one of the two. But either way, it deals a decent amount of damage. So getting a full refresh on everybody hit by your Dual Saber Throw, that's solid. And then in single target, this just removes you having to spend that additional rage on Rupture, which means you can just keep Vicious Slashing, or you might even have more rage up for your Annihilate. Like, this is really solid. I think Spiteful Saber, just for that right there, takes the cake here. Okay, moving on to Fury. Following tacticals have been added to the game, we know that. Okay, Cauterized Corner. Your first strike causes the target to bleed. We'll have to see how that does and what the damage is. If there's something additional in the spec tree that they've added that's like, hey, yo, you're now dealing additional damage to targets who are bleeding, this could be really solid. Or we'll have to wait and see what the dot damage is from the bleed. Enraged Crush. Raging Burst and Smash detonate for Crush, dealing Force Crush's remaining damage to up to 8 nearby enemies in an area around the primary target. So this is what I was saying. This is really solid as well. This is a good tactical. Force Crush isn't up all that often, so of course it's not going to be nearly as good. If you want to be more of an AoE spec, then you're definitely going to want to play Annihilation, but this is still pretty solid. Force Barter. Fierce Strike funds 1 additional rage after it hits, but refunds all its rage if you use it and you go to 0 rage, so ending your rotation there. That's okay. Using Obliterate with Furious Power causes to critically hit. That's actually pretty decent. That might allow you to 100 to 0, like anybody with Fury. Because Obliterate is that one portion of your rotation where you've gone in, you leap in, you activate your Berserk, you drop your Force Crush, then you smash that Raging Blow, drop the Furious Strike, then you're into Ravage, and then your second Obliterate. But that second Obliterate, if it crits with the 25% additional bonus damage, might just let you go straight into your Vicious Throw, and you can get 100 to 0 there in one rotation. So this could actually be, you know, not that Fury Mars are having trouble like decimating, you know, fucking healers and people with like light armor, but this could be really useful for 100 to 0ing like some of those more tricky classes within one global cooldown. Like within the time of your force choke, you might actually be able to like dumpster a sniper or a slinger or somebody who has like a lot of defenses, or a merc. You know, we'll have to wait and see what happens to the merc class, like whether they're still going to be god mode or not. So that's pretty good, but we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. Like how often Furious power is up and what it feels like to use it. You know what I mean? Like, are you constantly saving a charge for Obliterate in Fury, which takes away from some other ability that might actually, like your single target on Furious Strike, like getting an additional 25% damage? That's pretty good. So whether or not this is worth it, we'll have to wait and see. This one seemingly is the best. Right now, I think this is the best Fury tactical, the Enraged Crush. But to be fair, these all seem pretty lackluster compared to Spiteful Saber. I think is God mode. I think that should put Annihilation on the top. And then Fang Form God is pretty sick as well as Adendu's Malevolence. Like there's good stuff here for Carnage. Like all of these are actually really good. These are all really solid. And this Malmoral Mask and Spiteful Saber, as well as this, like if you can swap out tacticals pretty easily, like as long as there's not some crazy gold cost to like remove it from your character and then put something else in, this would also be really good. So I feel like there's good stuff for Carnage and Annihilation, and Fury, you know, other than Enrage Crush and Perseverance, which seems legit, but again, you need another ability to make this useful. Like you generate one charge every 30 seconds. This seems like it's very reliant on Furious power being up to get any use out of it. So that's bullshit. Force Barter, you know, maybe this one actually ends up being the best, because you're going to constantly be using that Furious Strike and then heading to 0 range, and then refunding this lets you kind of smooth the rotation. Like you're not going to ever be stuck in that scenario where like, holy shit, I actually have to find like Slash on my bars, you know, and use Slash to build a little bit of rage and keep the damage up. But I think Enraging Crush is the best one here. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for the Marauders and the basic warrior classes. I'm not going to go over the Juggernaut stuff because I don't play it enough, and well, other than Rage and Vengeance, but I don't really want to. Sorry, it's the Jedi Consular from way back. Okay, here we go. Let's find our sniper, because let's find the operatives here. This is going to be, I think, my main. I love the way marksmanship is playing in PvP right now, and I really hope, like, their defenses are so good. If you're a calm player and you know, okay, when is the perfect time to be, like, there's just good talents right now for just surviving a ridiculously long period of time. And if there's even one healer on your team with half a brain, it's pretty solid. Like you can live for a long time as a sniper right now, or as a gunslinger, and do a lot of damage. Maybe not as much, like you're not a one-man wrecking crew like your Rage Jugs or your Vengeance Jugs, or people that have like a lot of CC immunity and like crazy healing, and you're not on the survivability level as a mercenary. But it's pretty good. I think your damage numbers are a bit better, like pure DPS, not effective DPS based on the amount of time that you actually survive, but just pure damage numbers are better as a sniper, and they should be. Okay, so we are here closing it on. I'm not going to read the scoundrel ones because I feel like most of my followers are Empire players, and I play Empire, and this stuff is all the same anyways, but just with different ability names. So let's start with the Imperial Agent. The following set bonuses have been added at level 75 for all agents. Okay. Escape Artist, 2% alacrity for the 2-piece. Flashbang now heals any allies nearby for a small amount and resets the cooldown of countermeasures for the 4-piece. That's pretty good. Simply because it resets your cooldown of countermeasures, and if you're using countermeasures the way that I like to use it, the talent that gives you the 70% movement speed and purges all movement impairing effects, this could be useful, but again, tethered to the cooldown of Flashbang, which is pretty long. So this is average, but the alacrity rating is probably useful. Probe Tech, garbage. Just, I'm not even going to read it. Anything that has endurance. Shield Probe gets a small shield around. Okay, so you get a little bit of protection, but, you know, whatever. One Sonic Rebounder from a prototype, or from an advanced prototype, Power Tech on your team, or whatever spec, or Pyrotech, or whatever, they can take that talent. That'll protect for way more than your shitty shield probe. Like, this is probably not going to be that strong, and endurance is a waste. Quick Thinker, 2% mastery. Any enemy, 2% mastery for the 2-piece. 4 pieces. Any enemy who attacks you during an adrenaline probe is stunned for 2 seconds. Garbage. The Slow Road, 2% mastery. Frag Grenade slows its primary target and all targets around by 30% for 6 seconds. This is not bad, but you have to get a 4-piece to get it, and you have to be playing engineering. This is probably pretty good for engineering. Alright, let's move into the snipers. At level 72, you will receive a new ability, Hollow Locate. Activating this ability marks your current location, so you're going to get a phase walk. Dope. Not that we needed this, but this makes us way more slippery and increases our survivability by quite a bit. If you are within 60 meters of the marked location, you instantly return to the marked location. Hollow Locate goes on cooldown for 120 seconds. That's a pretty low cooldown for such an OP ability. And then you return to the... Okay, so this is a great PvP addition. Super good. Alright, let's get into the set bonuses. Established Foothold. 2% mastery for the 2-piece. 4-piece. Cooldown of Entrench is reduced by 10 seconds. You gain 2% energy, 2 energy per second while Entrenched is active. 6-piece. While Entrenched, you build stacks of Entrenched offense, increasing damage by 3% per stack while you remain Entrenched. Stacks up to 5 times. So you can get 15% increased damage from this. Breaking cover or entrench being removed removes this buff. Entrench is up quite a bit. If you're not a sniper who's playing with Entrench, you're getting Entrench from your covered escape. So when you roll into it, you get 6 seconds, and then you're getting, I don't know how many seconds you get from the actual ability, like 18, something like that, of CC immunity. This is this could be a great, this is really useful. But again, the 6-piece, like, I don't know. We'll have to see. You obviously have 12 pieces, but unless they're going to be offering set bonuses on your implants and packages and relics, I don't really see you, and weapons, I don't really see you being able to get the 6-piece of this, even though it would be sick. Outlaws Parlay. 2% for the mastery. For the 2-piece, the energy cost of takedown is reduced by 3. Whatever. Killing an enemy within 3 seconds of damage, and then with takedown resets the cooldown of takedown and gives you a 5% damage buff. If that's a global damage buff, that's alright. This can stack up to 3 times and last 10 seconds. This is actually pretty garbage. I just don't see this happening enough. How many times are you going to be able to chain takedown kills together? Very rarely. Yeah, this is lousy, or at the most a PvE focused set. Precise Target, or 2% mastery for the 2-piece. Reduces cooldown on target of a target acquired by 15 per second, and activating your target required, of course, stores 15 energy. Whatever. 6-piece. Lays target gets 3 charges, and its cooldown is reduced by 15 seconds. That's pretty fire. That's really good. It's going to give you 3 critical ambushes. If you're playing marksman, calls, and then also you're going to get your debt charge, or whatever it is. It's not satchel charge. Well, satchel charge is the slinger version of it, but you know what I'm saying. Explosive probe. You're going to get 4 seconds of your 3 critical main abilities. But again, it's a 6-piece. and I don't know. Repositioning, 2% for the alacrity, 4% reduces the cooldown of cover pulse by 5 seconds, 6% evasion finishes the cooldown, or sorry, I can't think right now. 2-piece is 2% alacrity, 4-piece reduces the cooldown of cover pulse by 5 seconds. 6-piece evasion finishes the cooldown of cover escape and increases you and your allies by movement speed by 50% for 6 seconds. This is actually really good. And seeing as this is your actual set bonuses, which you get to choose from, the precise targeter is probably the one you want to go for. Unless there's more down here, which there are not. So those are your set bonuses, and then, you know, just looking at it right now, I would probably want to take if you want mobility, high mobility and the best for PvP, you're going to take the 4-piece, you're going to take the Escape Artist set, plus your plus the repositioning set. Evasion finishes the cooldown of covered escape and increases you and your allies' movement speed by 50%. If you use this right with Imperial Preparation, you can get 3 covered escapes, like back to back to back, which is a lot of distance, plus your hollow. Like, you might never die with repositioning, but you're not going to get any outrageous damage buffs. So you're favoring survivability and mobility with that combo. The precise targeter, because it is a 6-piece, this is pretty good. This is quite good. The precise targeter might be the one you want to go for. Established foothold is also quite good. Yeah, used with, you know, you can mix and match as you see fit, but they're all okay. None of them are actually that insane. The precise targeter one is definitely the best. Reducing the cooldown of target acquired by 15% is nice. That's a long cooldown, and it gives you, like, you know, when you throw that up on your ambush or you throw that up in your call, like, it's gonna be a big hit. It's gonna be like 30k plus. And then with some additional talents, and then having it reduced on 15% cooldown, this should allow you to do some cool things. And then 3 critical ambushes and a reduced cooldown by 15% late. So this is best in slot for sure. 100%. And then you're going to want to combine that with anything that's going to give you alacrity. So the 2-piece Escape Artist and the 6-piece Precise Targeter, probably what you want. Okay, moving into the tacticals. These are the base tacticals for the sniper class. I'm not even going to read this. We're just going to call it the Hollow Dampener. Hollow Locate increases your damage reduction by 15% for 10 seconds when you return. Solid. You drop that, plus you drop your Imperial Preparation. That's 30% additional DR. If you are, damage reduction, if you take the Imperial Preparation talent in the Masterful tree, which you absolutely should. Culto Bombardment, Orbital Strike, heals allies in the area whenever it takes. We'll have to see how much the heal is, but that's garbage. Sniper Siege. Enemies take 10% more damage while under suppressive fire. Does not affect operation bosses. This is a trash tactical. You probably want this for running. If you're going to raid, you probably want to have this just that you can swap it in and out of the actual tactical you're going to use for the fights. Yeah, like when you're clearing trash. 10% more damage under suppressed fire. Probably not from suppressed fire, but for the rest of your raid group, this is a nice bonus. Technical debt. Shattershot applies tech debt to its target. Whenever the target is healed, so are you for a small amount. That is fucking godlike. That is really, really good. I'm a big fan. You don't start the rotation until your Corrosive Dart and Shattershot are up on the target. And in PvP, if you're going to focus a healer, whenever they self-heal, you're going to get healed for a small amount. So that should, you know, it could be redundant if no one's focusing you and you're at full health. But if you're going to take a little bit of heat, and you're going to take a little bit of heat from someone who is targeting you directly, you Shattershot them, and they're getting healed, you're going to benefit from them having a heal. So this could alone rectify some of the just, oh my god, I have no healers on my team scenarios where you die. We'll have to wait and see how much the heal is. But if they're getting constantly healed, that's probably going to heal you for a decent amount. Okay, getting into the spec-specific tacticals. For marksmanship, here we go. Agitating energies. Corrosive dart deals more damage, and dealing damage with follow-through and penetrating blast refreshes its bleed effect on its targets and takes its damage. That's pretty cool. That'll give you a little bit more flavor in that spec. And actually, you know, this is nice. This is not bad. This is kind of cool. Differential targeting system, activating coverage escape, or returning to your marker with hololocate makes your next ambush activate instantly and deal 30% more damage. Jesus. Huh. That is unbelievable. That's amazing. So now if you want, you can literally, you see a low health target, you're like, holy shit, I need to hard swap right now. You're going to pop your Laze target, your Warzone Adrenal, and your target acquired, hit that covered escape, smash it with the instant activation of ambush, and deal 30% more damage. This is broken. This needs to be removed from the game. This is overpowered, and this is best in slot by far. Refraction point. I don't even care. This could be amazing as well, but it's nowhere near as good as this. Like, your covered escape is on a relatively short cooldown, and having instant ambushes that deal 30% more damage with Laze target with a 3 stack, that is fucking disgusting. Pardon my language. Okay, refraction point. Penetrating blast does splash damage to targets around the primary target, causes your next fall to deal splash damage as well. This is average, but this should give you, like, obviously, guys, you want all the tacticals, but you're going to collect them all, and then you're going to have them in your inventory, and then whenever, if you're PvEing, you're going to choose the ones that, you know, make the most sense for the encounter. So refraction point, or, you know, whatever that other one was, the base tactical one that, never mind. There was a, never mind. I'll figure it out. Figure it out later. Anyways, yeah, this is not bad. This is good for AoE. You want that one that gives you the 10% under suppressive fire, which was up here as well. Yeah. Okay, so you can't have them both at the same time. So the choice is yours. This is, I think, better than this, and they do similar things, or their idea is similar. Obviously, this one is more of a PvP because you don't want to be suppressive firing in PvP unless you're searching for a stealth target or something like that. It's just the damage is just too low. And I can't see, like, scenarios where you adding 10% increased damage for other, you know, that could actually be good, but that's a lot of theory crafting. Whereas this is something you're going to use in PvP, and these are your main abilities. Dealing splash damage, that's nice. But I just think if you want to be a hitter, like, this is so good. This is so good. There's 2 ways to do this, guys. You can, so, like, say someone is chasing you and you're like, shit, I really don't have time to pop that ambush. Like, I don't have 1.3 seconds to channel, or you're in trenches enough, so you're worried about it getting interrupted. Whatever. Instant ambush? That's disgusting. That is disgusting. That is really good. This is best in slot by far. Okay, moving on to engineering. Dispersal caps. Cluster bombs deals additional damage to all enemies around their target. Great. Ruthless interrogation. Series of shot refractions. Interrogation probe takes damage every time hits. Electrified railgun does 50% more damage. It's pretty good. Ionic discharge. Explosive probe now only triggers from EMP discharge and deals 50% more damage. I like that. That's pretty cool. So if you're a good engineering player, you can kind of adjust the burst window. So if you don't want it to be like tick, 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 which is how it usually is because it goes off with a series of shots, you can now do everything you want to do, and then when they're low enough, you can trigger that EMP discharge, and then boom, you're going to get your one huge burst of damage, and it deals 50% more damage. This is actually pretty godlike. This is pretty insane. That's actually really nuts. Really, really good. Okay, moving on to virulence. There's a slight change. Corrosive grenade now deals 10% more damage, just as a buff. That's pretty sick. Okay, Airborne agents. Corrosive grenade spreads weakening blast effect. Lethal shot does splash damage to all targets. Effect. That's absurd. That is disgusting. Oh my god. Man, like, you want to play marksmanship so bad, and then they hit you with something that's so godlike. This is so godlike. This is really, really good. Um, Weakening blast. Obviously, guys, if you don't play an operative or a scoundrel or a sniper or a slinger, weakening blast in this tree, in the virulence tree or the lethality tree, this essentially makes your poisons tick harder, and then I think makes them susceptible to just more. It makes them susceptible, and then when you hit your cull, your cull does amplified damage because of that. So having this spread to every single target, you can just start culling people left, right, and center. This is absurd. And then lethal shot does splash damage to all targets affected by corrosive grenade. Like, that's fucking ridiculous. Like, you're gonna use that. This is amazing. Exploited weakness. Weakening blast deals 100% more damage. Don't care. Dealing damage. Lethal shot causes the targets to take poison damage over 18 seconds. So this is just going to add you an additional dot. This is probably your PvE tactical. Ultraviolet blast. Weakening blast finishes off all your poisons. Affects at once, dealing all the remaining damage. Weakening blast cooldown is increased by 6 seconds. Okay, so this is also pretty good if you want to be that, like, if you like virulence not for the pressure. So this is like pressure PvP. This is like burst PvP. So you're going to cull, pop your shit with cull. Then you're going to smash your series of shots. Then you're going to smash your refreshed, or sorry, you're going to attack your free takedown. Then your cull's going to be back up again, and then once your cull's back up again, you're going to smash out that ultraviolet blast, and that will, finish off your poison tick damage. I don't know, because maybe your poison won't have that much tick damage remaining. This seems like something you can kind of throw new poisons and then drop it all at once, which kind of is redundant to the whole point of this spec of like accumulating just steady damage. This seems like a lot of burst, actually. Dealing all the remaining damage. That could be a lot of damage. I'm not sure how much damage. I'm not sure how much damage corrosive dart and corrosive grenade actually do, like in total, like what their total damage numbers are. But that could be decent. But I don't see it as being as good as this. Like, this is absurd. This is really absurd. This is really godlike. Okay, so that's gonna do it for the snipers and the marauders. Let's just zoom over the mercenary stuff real quick, just because I'm reading. It's average. Okay. Godlike. This is amazing. If you're playing Innovative Ordnance, this is a must-take. Okay? 2 charges. This will solve all that spec's heat problems, and that's the only reason why it's not the... Like, I play it in PvP because there's so much variety to it. It's an amazing spec. This is great. This is really good. Woad's Instinct, best in slot, I think, for the base. For your combined. This is like what you're going to add to your set bonuses. Okay, here we go. These are the new set bonuses for the mercenary. This is really good. This 4-piece is really good. You're gonna get a lot of guaranteed power shots out of this, or tracer missiles, whatever you want. That'll help the steady damage. Dealing damage to power shot. Grant a stack of power step stacking up to 5 times. Okay, so the Apex Predator set, this is like an innovative ordnance. This is really good, I think. Concentrated fire. 2% mastery. Stack supercharge. They must have changed supercharge somehow. Because that sounds ridiculous. Gaining a stack of supercharge increases your critical chance by 10% for 10 seconds. Okay, so this is a... this seems good. I'll have to see how this plays out. Notorious. This is really good. This 4-piece is good. This 4-piece is... This set is really good. So Power Surge, you're going to get, with the talent that is currently available, you can now potentially have 3 charges. And then Power Surge grants precision targeting, increasing armor penetration by 10% for 6 seconds. This effect cannot occur more than once a minute. That's pretty solid. Tech Medic, this is for your healers. Onboard AD becomes an instant cast. That's really sick. Trade Flare heals all allies around you. That's also very sick. Okay, let's get into the tacticals. Cool your jets, rocket out, vents 20 heat, and mobilizes enemies around you for 2 seconds as you leave. Average. Jettison, jet boost. Jet boost increases your movement speed over 50% for 3 seconds. Each enemy hit with jet boost. Cooldown and hydraulic overrides is reduced by... Jesus. This is pretty good. Missile blast knocks his target back and refunds 10 heat. That's unreal. That's unreal. What? Is this saying that this is free? That now Missile Blast is free? If it's now a heat decreaser? That's really good. When you use ability with Power Surge, that ability is not put on cooldown. Oh. What does that affect? Actually, I'm freaking out because the thought of that is really good. But this is like Power Shot doesn't go on cooldown. Tracer Shot doesn't go on cooldown. Sorry, Tracer Missile. Like, this is just an instant activation on casted shit, so this is actually not that great. Yeah, this is very average. These base ones are okay. This one is nuts. This missile backblast, this is insane, I think. Arsenal is lame as shit, so I don't really know if I want to go over these. Dealing damage with blazing bolts increases the damage to your next priming shot, stacking up to 8 times. Prime ignition. Yeah, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. Priming shot causes your targets to burn. Blazing bolts heat secret missiles. All tickets damage. Great. Thermonuclear fusion. What? This is absurd. Fusion missiles spreads your tracer missile's heat signature to the targets it damages. So if you get a huge clump of this and then hit your heat seeker, so what you're going to do here is you're going to use your sweet new Notorious set piece that gives you 3 charges of power surge. To remove the cooldown on your fusion missile, you're gonna dab that out all over everybody. Then you're gonna smash Heatseeker and just watch as everybody gets crushed with 28,000 damage. That's actually pretty insane. This is very good. This is very good and should bring back like a pretty useless ability in the mercenary arsenal back to the forefront. Like this is now something that you're gonna really have to know where it is on your bars. And if you're a clicker, like, whatever, fuck off. Bodyguard, no one cares. Innovative Ordnance, my favorite spec in the game. Give you something good. Sweeping Blasters, continuous fire. Sweeping Blasters and Death from Above. Refresh and take your incendiary missile burns. This is unbelievable. Sort of. It's actually really good. Not that you're gonna like. So this is AOE. This is an AOE. This is a PVE thing, but this is still really good because you're not gonna get like Unfortunately, if sweeping blasters would spread your dots, that would be absurd. But you need fusion missile to spread that shit. So it's not bad. It's still really good. You get fusion missile out once with the power surge, and then you just have to like every now and then you throw in the sweeping blasters, and it's going to refresh your bleeds. This is actually really solid. This is very good. Energized charges. The duration of innovative ordnances, supercharged gas and supercharged burn are doubled, and their effectiveness is improved. Probably just means you kill shit faster. 1v1, that's pretty good. Explosive dart now remains dormant on the target for 12 seconds. Mag shot detonates it, dealing double its standard damage to the primary target. These are really lackluster, other than the sweeping blasters. This one is pretty sick. This one, I don't know a single innovative ordnance merc who is actually using this explosive dart, or like anybody is using explosive dart. Like it's pretty much like a dead ability. So if the double standard damage is pretty good, that could be really good. And another thing to have in your bars. Okay, that's gonna do it. Actually, you know what? I'm right here. Let's just do the power tech stuff. Actually, no. This video has been an hour. It's been an hour. It's 11:47. We are an hour away from game time. So I am going to take a break, turn into a human, and then we're gonna start the 6.0 grind. So that's gonna do it. Okay, this should be up. Like, hopefully this will be up. Hopefully this will just stick around on the channel and you guys can watch it just as a video, because there are obviously no viewers because it's like very early in the morning and none of you guys are, you're probably all at work. So we're just going to end the video here. This has been a patch 6.0 rundown for the Marauders, Snipers, and Mercenaries. Basically the three classes that I play the most of. And that's going to do it. Let's get rolling with 6.0. Peace.